What's going on, guys? This is the Red Rogue, and we're back with another episode of awesome add-ons. And the name of this series seriously doesn't lie, because today's add-on is quite literally a world changer. If you end up liking this video, I have quite a few other ones in my awesome add-on series, and just bunches of other content you can check out if you haven't yet. For those who have seen some of my videos, or know what my UI normally looks like, it's pretty much a chaotic mess of extra buttons all over the sides of my screen, like I was trying to play Tetris with my hotkeys. As you can see now, however, in less than an hour of playing with this new add-on, I've trimmed off over 20 toys, items, mounts, and all sorts of other garbage that was cluttering my screen. So you might be thinking, well, gee, yeah, it's not hard to just not have so much junk on your screen like a pack rat, Zara. Well, for one, how dare you? And for two, it's all still here, technically. Today's awesome add-on is OPie. This is a UI supplement add-on that will allow you to bind basically anything you want to rings. You know how in like every console port of any, good PC game, how they have to make like 18 gazillion weapon wheels because the game was meant to be played with like a keyboard and a mouse? Well, once again, PC just does things better. More importantly, a mouse does things better this way too. Though I'd be interested in seeing how this add-on would work in conjunction with the console port add-on, but that's a topic for another episode. Anyways, I'm quite frankly not sure how I played without this add-on before. As soon as I loaded it up for the first time, I was engrossed for like at least an hour just finding out all sorts of things I could get off of my screen and onto one of these rings, and add things that weren't even on my screen. Okay, so the add-on will come with quite a few rings pre-made for you to fiddle with, such as specializations in travel, target markers, world markers, trade skills, and more. To look at all this, you'll just type /OPIE into chat or go to your add-ons tab in the menu. Most of these pre-built rings will already have a preset keybind, but thanks to this add-on, I finally have a good usage for the G-Shift button on my Logitech G600, which, by the way, is hands down my favorite MMO mouse ever, and they seriously need to make a version 2 of this with mechanical switches. If you haven't tried one of these before, just think of like Razer Naga that has way better side buttons, costs about half the price, and has a third mouse button for your ring finger. Sorry, I got a little off track. It's a really good mouse and it's so cheap. Anyways, to see or change any of the ring bindings, you'll simply click on the Ring Bindings tab on the left-hand side underneath OPie in your add-ons menu. This will bring up all of the rings that are already pre-built into OPie, but we'll also be making a custom one in this video so you can see how to do that too. So for this part, you can just change these key bindings to whatever you want each of these rings to show up on. After changing the key binds to your liking, you can test this add-on out for yourself. To use it, you'll simply hold whichever key binding you've tied to the ring you want to operate. Doing so will make this super sleek looking wheel pop up on your screen. From here, you'll simply drag your mouse in the direction you want to select and release the keybind. The UI for this is also color-coded, so you'll know which one you're selecting. If you don't want to select any of them, just bring your cursor close to the center ring in the middle of the UI, which should turn gray, and when you release the key binding while it's gray, it will just disappear. OPie lets you do all sorts of super convenient things, like using your Hearthstone, changing specs, using your flight whistle, and so much more. Probably one of my favorite additions is the ability to mark targets on the fly or clear markers using OPie, as it makes me not have to go through a billion different macros to do it, or right-click on someone's nameplate and drag over to a target marker and select it and probably pick the wrong one by accident. It really doesn't get much easier than this, guys. It's crazy. But wait, I can hear in the distance.
We want more stuff. We want more stuff.
More? How could you want more? This already does so much. I mean, yeah, fine, okay, OPie does more. Let's say, for instance, you're a super charming and handsome troll rogue who happens to be an engineer. Well, you probably have every wormhole generator ever, since you're just so darn humble and skilled, but you don't want a billion action buttons on your screen. Well, OPie is here to help. I'll show you how to make some custom rings so you too can have whatever you want on them. The process is really simple. Seriously, the folks behind this add-on deserve like a small shrine made of Oreos or something. Okay, so we'll open up OPie. As I mentioned before, to do this you'll type /OPIE, which brings up the add-on options. There will be two options on the left-hand side of the screen, ring bindings and custom rings. For this one, we'll be making a custom ring. On the right hand side, you'll select New Ring, and you can name it whatever you want. Most likely you'll want to name it something pertinent to what it's being used for, so I'm gonna make a second wormhole generator ring just to show you guys how easy it is. Now, for example, wormhole generators can only be used by us super charming engineers, so my only one is my main, Zera. So I'll want to set the ring as only available to him. Depending on the type of ring you make, you'll want to change this to support all characters of the same class, or of the same faction, or just all characters. So next we'll click on this plus sign on the left hand side of the screen to add a new slice to our ring. As you can see, there are options for literally anything you can think of. For this example, we'll need to look in our toys section, since all wormhole generators were made into toys a while back. Clicking this will bring up every toy you have in alphabetical order, so we're just gonna skedaddle our way down to the bottom of the list until we hit W, and there we go. All of our wormhole generator toys. Now to add them to the ring is super easy. You'll just double click on each one and it will show the icon being placed on the left hand side next to that plus sign. So we're just gonna click on all of our generators, in order of expansion of course, because OCD. And as you can see, each one I click on gets put in order. You can of course change the order of these by dragging and dropping them into the order you want them to be in case you make a mistake, so there's that option too. OPie will also automatically set the color of their glow effects based on roughly the color of the icon, but if you want to change those, you can simply click the color box right here and drag the color selector around to your heart's content. Or, just to make them easier to distinguish if you have a lot of similarly colored icons. Okay, so now we've made our custom ring. We'll click on Ring Bindings, and as you can see here, my Wormhole Generator's example ring is here and is not bound to anything yet. So we'll just bind this to one of my mouse G-Shift buttons and give it a whirl. Make sure to click OK when you're finished with all this, by the way, or it won't save anything you just did. I tested this just to see if that would happen, and yeah, it deletes it, so make sure to press OK. Okay, so now we're gonna give this ring a shot. By simply holding my keybind I selected, I'll get this nice ring to pop up showing all of my available wormhole generators. So you can see how my mouse cursor directly controls the arrow on OPie, and once I move it out of this center circle enough, it will change color to match the icon that it will select. Releasing the keybind causes my wormhole toy to be selected, which will whisk me away to a better expansion. I mean, well, I'm not wrong, am I? Anyways, there are a fair number of other customization settings for the way your rings will look and interact. I personally like the option to center the ring on my mouse cursor, as otherwise it will be dead center of your screen no matter what you're doing, which can kinda block your field of view if you were to use this in any sort of combat-oriented things, such as marking targets or placing world markers. Having it center on your mouse also means you can just move your mouse in the same direction every time without having to drag it halfway across your screen. In case you were in the middle of clicking on an interactable item in-game, or when you lose your mouse cursor on the screen. I don't have that happen too often anymore, but it is seriously one of the sketchiest things ever that can occur if you still have any buttons or things you click on directly and lose sight of your cursor. You can also change other things like the animation speed of the rings, the scaling, and plenty of other goodies. I'm still learning kinda how to use this as I go too, as I quite literally picked this up not even a day or two ago and have just fallen in love with using it. It is really great. Another really cool thing I noticed that you are able to program into it as well is if you have a bunch of variants of the same item, for instance a Hearthstone toy, you can select which one you want to use by using your scroll wheel while selecting the regular hearth slice. So I can finally use some of those variants I've had lying around for years in my toy box. I'm sure there are other uses for this too, but unless you want to cause like ringception and put rings on your rings, I personally like them all being separate keybinds, so I kinda have a direct idea of what each one is for, but that's just personal preference. Seriously though, if you haven't tried or even seen OPie before, give it a shot. This is by far my favorite add-on I've found since I started this add-on series, and it's just so great having so much more free space on my UI again. I'm still fiddling around with what I can use it for, but I've already got like 3 custom rings plus some of the ones it comes with already. I'll leave a link in the description on where you can download this bad boy, so don't miss out on it. I hope you guys liked this episode of awesome add-ons. If you know of any other cool ones you want talked about on the channel, leave a comment below and I'll take a look at them. Thank you all so much for watching. This is the Red Rogue, and I'll see you guys around.